Sports Counterpoints podcast. I'm GB. Got Brian. I got Coop. It's what is it? December 24th, 2023. February 14th, 2023. I was all off. I don't know why. That's Valentine's Day. What's happening? We're back. We're back at it, man. What's up, guys?
Going on?
Here we are back at it. We just troopers. Valentine's Day don't matter. We're still in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Make it happen.
And I might have had a couple Valentine's Day drinks at the crib.
You're
So
not the
yeah,
you're not the only one. Yeah, go
I don't
ahead.
know what day it is. So yeah, we
Hmm.
back at it. So we talking Super Bowl, of course. NFL season is over, which is good if you're a Chiefs fan. I guess you win it all. Bad for the rest of us because there's no football for months. But I get Sundays back for golf. We'll talk about KD and the NBA as far as trades go. Let's talk a little bit about some of the NFL coaches that are shuffling around and wrap it up. So Super Bowl, man, that's it. NFL season is over. Kansas City Chiefs are the top of the top. That's your champions for the year, man. What do you guys think about the game? What are your
Yeah.
guys takeaways?
I'll tell you what I tell you about the game. Defense doesn't win championships, like I always said. We knew it was going to. Me and Brian predicted it was going to be point scored in this game, and it was a lot of it. I was confident in that because I'd seen these two teams play. I think it was last year, and Philly and Kansas City put up 42. Philly had 30, so I knew both teams could score on each other. They knew how to attack each other's weaknesses. KC was just a little bit better at it. But this game to me is just all about was all about Mahomes and Kansas City. I mean, they don't have a perfect roster in Kansas City. They're starting six rookies, including this, the secondary, and they got that seventh round running back. They got average wide receivers. With Kadarius Tony just showed up midseason. Philly, good team. They probably had the best O line in NFL. A lot of people said the best D line. That's why a lot of people picked them to win. Probably the best wide receiver duo with Brown and the other guy, the small guy.
Von
Um,
Smith.
yeah, Devontae, yeah, and a Pro Bowl level quarterback. KC doesn't have any Hall of Famers on the offensive line. Philadelphia does. They rebuilt their offensive line, their receivers, receiving corps, and defense the last 3 years. But it was a good game. It was closer than I thought. I think I predicted KC to win by 6 or 8, and I think if the kicker would have made a field goal, and if that pass interference call on that Mahomes incompletion was called, and that fumble that they had overturned, a lot of the referee, a lot of the whistles went Philly's way. There was a fumble that it was an obvious fumble, but they gave the ball back to Philly. The guy had a catch down the sideline where he bobbled the ball. He didn't have 2 feet in bounds. They gave him that. So Casey had to overcome a lot. They were down by 10 at halftime. But Mahomes, and we've talked about this before, he's the best quarterback in NFL history down by 10 points. He wins 58% of his games, which is amazing. Number two was Brady at 39%. And he was number one at one point at 39%. Mahomes is at 58. But Casey ended up overcoming. I think that play where Mahomes ran 25 yards down the middle of the field, outrunning Philadelphia defenders on a high ankle sprain. I think that was probably a defining key moment of Mahomes' career that I'll never forget. I think probably it's the biggest play of his career, as oddly or strangely as that might sound. But and I know a lot of people want to talk about the hold at the end of the game. I mean, if people look at the totality of the game, the Philadelphia Eagles defense was getting cooked the last 2 hours of the game off the same route. The receivers were going in, out, and up the field, and the Eagles couldn't stop it. And that's exactly what the receiver was doing when he got held twice by Bradbury, who admitted because it was an obvious hold. People say you can't make that call. I don't see why you can't when it's the same play and you couldn't stop it all game. You got to do something to try to stop it. So he held. But also on the Philadelphia side, I got to give props to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a guy people know I was skeptical of, and I had right to be. He didn't play well at Oklahoma in the Peach Bowl, didn't got benched at Alabama in the championship game, didn't play well in the playoff game last year, was terrible, and didn't do much against the Giants and the 49ers. But in this game, he played extremely well. He put the ball in places that I've never seen him put it before. He was on the money with those passes. And he played well enough for his team to actually win, but his defense let him down. I mean, Jalen Hurts, I mean, there's nothing really bad you can say about him. I mean, he showed up in this game and he played very, very well, just running and throwing the ball. So got to give him credit for that. I did not see that kind of game coming from him. But again, the Eagles defense let them down, and KC ended up winning this game. This is not a referee story. That's like AAU coaches getting mad when their team have 28 turnovers, miss 19 free throws, lose by 3, and talking about the referees lost in the game. No, the referees didn't lose the Eagles the game. Their defense lost in the game. They should have got a stop in the second half, and they didn't. But that's how I see it. I know a lot of people see it differently. Like Brian, how'd you see the game?
Yeah, I definitely see it differently. First of all, I definitely think the refs did a good job. There was a lot of plays that could have added a lot more controversy. I think that they took the time, made the right calls. This was probably one of the most entertaining Super Bowls I can remember seeing. I mean, there was lots of big plays, but ultimately, here's where I disagree with you: is that it came down to a huge defensive play and running, which is kind of the thing. So everyone's going to talk about the fact that, the team that won had 162 passing yards. That's not a lot of passing yards, but they ran for 158, which is pretty significant. They won the rushing battle. They ultimately won the game. The math always comes out to the team that wins the rushing battle wins. I think it's like 80% of the time. We were talking about it a little while ago. The biggest play of the game was a freak fumble / defensive touchdown, which ultimately gave KC a touchdown they wouldn't have otherwise got. And then, of course, we both thought that it would come down. Well, you thought it was going to be eight or
6 to 8.
yeah,
6 to 8. Yeah. You said
but
3.
I was certain it was going to be a field goal game. Yeah. I just knew that these are going to be great, two great teams battling it out. I thought that the health of Jalen Hurts gave him a little bit of an advantage, and that it would be on the other direction. But Kansas City made the big defensive play. It was the only turnover. It was the only defensive touchdown. And that's, I think, was kind of a big difference between the two teams. As for all the rest of it, you're right. Jalen Hurts played one hell of a football game. I mean, the guy threw for 304 yards. Yep. He was the first quarterback to pass for 1 and rush for 2. And that happened before halftime. And he really did everything. The fumble was kind of a weird freak play where it kind of, there was a handoff that kind of went awry, and they ran it down the field and scored a touchdown. Congratulations to them taking advantage of it, but that's huge. And a game that's going to be decided by 3 points, a 7-point turnaround on a touchdown, when they were on the Chiefs side of the field, is a huge play. So anyways, I would rather just talk about the fact that this was an outstanding game played by two really great teams. Mahomes proved that he is magical in his own way. When he had that tackle, and it was very obvious that he was hurt, and that was not a dirty play. First of all, anyone who thinks that was a dirty tackle because he grabbed him by the foot as he was running down the field, that's what a shoestring tackle is. You've got to go and get the guy's feet and trip him up. Of course, you're going to go and do that. It was nothing dirty about that. But when he got hurt, and I think we were all texting, like, if Mahomes is out, it's going to be a game over. But he got hurt. He went over there. He was clearly in a lot of pain. He played through the rest of the half. Him coming back and playing as well and rushing for another 20 yards in the second half on 2 different scrambles shows the guts, shows the magic, shows the reason why he was the league MVP, shows the reason why since 1999 he was the first guy to win the MVP in a Super Bowl. Gutsy performance, gutsy play. Hats off to him and the Kansas City Chiefs for winning, again, one of the most entertaining football games that we watched. I enjoyed every single minute of the play, and for other reasons, had a lot of fun with all the scoring.
Yeah, good game. I thought, how can you complain about a game that comes down to a field goal like that many points scored? If you're a fan of sport in that case, most people don't enjoy watching defensive battles. People like to see scoring, and that's what it was. Better team won, I guess.
I don't know if there's was a better team. I mean, you run that game 5 times, it's going to be 3-2. I don't know which way it would have even been. It would have been, was going to be close every single time.
Mahomes and them boys, they got Mahomes, who's the better quarterback right now. They got Andy Reid, who's the better coach right now. They got Bieniemy, and my conspiracy theory now is that the Chiefs are keeping Bieniemy from getting a job so that he can stay there. because
Andy Reid has literally done everything he possibly can. Go out there and say he should be running a team.
yeah, on TV, that's great.
Mm.
I don't know what's happening when people call,
They allowed him to interview with every single team that called out to him.
I mean, hey, I said it's a conspiracy theory, bro. It's a theory. You know what I mean? That's all. I'm just saying. It's interesting that every time he ends up coming back to the same team, no other offensive coordinator job, no other coaching job. Sometimes he's always with the Chiefs, and they continue to have this phenomenal offense with
Bieniemy has a
phenomenal
reputation for
talent.
being cantankerous.
Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
hard reputation to get past for owners, especially owners who are not of the same ilk and are looking for reasons to not pick players. But Bieniemy's problem is his history.
Yeah, it's been like that for years.
He's super talented, but we talked about this last year about Bieniemy.
Yeah,
like he's known as a cantankerous kind of dude.
I don't think John Gruden was giving guys flowers, but
yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, but they say this guy is not the easiest to get along with. And you're trying to run a franchise. It's like, I don't know how you're gonna do that, but I get it though. I get both sides.
He's clearly super talented. He's clearly gifted. I think it's easy and it's the reason why it works for nobody's going to question who Reid wants on his staff. He could say, I want Satan to be special teams coach, and the ownership would say, Reid, we're going with whatever guy you say. So, he has that advantage, which makes it easier for him to be able to give a cantankerous guy a shot who's clearly a very, very smart football coach. But
sure, there's a lot of bad teams that could do it. But anyway,
yeah, I hear you.
I agree with that. What y'all think about halftime?
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Oh, I did. that was bro. Everyone in the house was cool. We turned out the lights, turned up the music.
That's when all the rest.
It was a cool show.
Excited.
I can't remember the last time where one artist dominated the entire halftime show. Right?
Gaga,
usually, huh?
Didn't Lady Gaga? I don't think she brought anyone out.
I have no idea because that's definitely one I wouldn't.
And Weekend either. Yeah.
But like usually they bring out another person brings out an artist, and there was all types of speculation. Tom Holland was even in the mix, where like a whole bunch of people on Instagram and Twitter were like, "Oh, is Tom Holland going to come out?" And don't know how that even became a thing. But I don't remember the last time that one artist did it, and it was a solid show. I'm not a huge Rihanna fan, but I enjoyed the show.
The pregnancy reveal, I think, was a big deal too. Everybody was
everyone. I saw it. I didn't realize it was a thing. Like when I saw her, I was like, "Oh, she's pregnant." I didn't realize that was the first time other people were finding out. I just don't follow, Rihanna news like that.
Yeah, I was talking.
It was obvious to me from the minute the lights turned on, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she's pregnant."
Yeah, shout out to your wife, to Dre and to Angel, because immediately they're like, "Is she pregnant?" I'm like, "No, this might be postpartum," and then instantly everybody hit Google to find out what's going on. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good Super Bowl overall. I don't think there's any, I couldn't find any fault with it. I had a great time, like Brian said. I was with good company. We had a great time, playing some parlor games with all the scores. So it was fun, man. I thought it was a good game.
That's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but at Brian's house, how can you not have fun? I mean,
it was hard. We did it up differently. We usually do everything in the game room. This time we did everything in the family room.
Oh, cool.
Brought the bar tops out, and it was a good setup to have fun. Everybody kind of in the same space. But anyways, but yeah, it was just everything about the game, right? It was offensive. It had a lot of offensive scoring. It was tactical. There were some who have said that Reid coached the best second half of football that has ever been coached in the Super Bowl.
It really was.
Hard to argue with that, right? Like, especially given the results, playing with an injured quarterback. Everything you could possibly want had something in there. And anyone who wants to say that they were cheated, someone was cheated because of referees, I'm usually on the team of like, yeah, I can see that, or but it wasn't
too
there.
Many chances not to get got like that.
Real quick, Glenn, before you go on, I have a comment and I got a question for Brian. Actually, a question for you. But my comment is, I believe that this game, with Kansas City winning, just proves that wide receivers don't really increase your chances of winning a Super Bowl. You have to have that coach and that quarterback and just weapons in general, not just one guy. And KC really doesn't have that guy, and it's even more impressive without Tyreek Hill. But my
Kelsey might be
question,
the guy though.
Yeah, they only
Kelsey
threw
is
for
the
100.
guy.
Again, they only threw for 182 yards.
true, yeah,
And their tight end was the guy because
yeah,
they
but
didn't
he was
have
the guy this game, yeah. But
Kelsey
he,
gets the key
that
first
dude is
downs.
good. So my question for you, Brian, is going forward, okay? Because I was looking this up, and Philly has 7 free agent defensive starters, 2 on the offensive line, and Miles Sanders. That's possibly 10 guys that could be gone. They
Plus
lost
like
their
5 coaches.
right. They lost their offense coordinator, and I'm not sure if their defense coordinator is going to be gone too. So the offense coordinator and play caller is
gone.
gone too. Oh, he's gone. So
To Cardinals.
how are you optimistic or bullish on Philly next year, even with Jalen, still there, but these guys are gone? Are you bullish on them?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, they caught lightning in a bottle, and as with any team that catches lightning in a bottle, there's a price to pay afterwards.
Mm.
There's a reason why there's Super Bowl hangovers. There's a reason why the Rams were one of the worst teams in football this year, and one of the and the Super Bowl the year before. That's the way the sport works.
Yeah.
If the timing works out where you have young guys who have extra time, which happens a lot with teams when they have expensive quarterbacks, that's that can go a little bit longer. But when you have a relatively inexpensive quarterback in Jalen Hurts, you're spending your money elsewhere. Those deals are typically shorter. That they're not as much guaranteed money as you're going to get with quarterbacks, and that there's a price to be paid after you have some level of success like they did this year with a 14-3 record. So it's going to be real hard for them to figure it out. They might be able to replace it. But no, I fully expect that they're going to get the full Super Bowl hangover tag. I don't think it has anything to do with the Super Bowl,
Right.
but I think they're going to suffer pretty significantly in this offseason.
And major losses.
Yeah, I asked that because KC, they got young guys and they got 11 draft picks coming up to replace whoever. So, and I don't think they're missing too much. So that's why I had to ask that question.
No, I mean, outside of Mahomes, who's already got his money and lots of it. By the way,
have to draft well.
I will acknowledge he is the first time that I think he's on his new deal.
Right.
His first year in his new deal.
To be that,
this is the first time ever that a quarterback making that kind of money has ever won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, if you're gonna have the best in the game, generational talent, and
draft
well for everybody else.
Once guys get those deals, they typically can't do it. They did it, and they did it with the likes of Isaiah Pacheco, and Juju Smith, who's on a more reasonable deal, and Justin Watson and Darius Toney and Sky Moore and a whole bunch of guys who are not commanding the same kind of money, to the point that Jason just made, because they basically said, Reed basically said, and the ownership basically said, we can do this with a really expensive Mahomes and a not so expensive wide receiver core because he's that good, and got rid of Hill.
It was exactly what Coop said.
I know it's not going to be popular for a lot of people. If I'm Jalen Hurts,
surprise.
Yeah, I know, right? If I'm Jalen Hurts, I don't want to get the bag, man, as a quarterback. I want to get paid, but I don't want to get the bag because I still want to compete. I want to compete for Super Bowls, man. And I think
you're going to get paid like a top 10 versus number 1.
Yeah. You're going to have to take less in order to get some talent around. Because I think once that talent leaves him, he gets paid all that money because he could probably command that kind of scratch now and get it. You know what I'm saying? So,
and he should absolutely take it. Because in football,
I'm not mad at it. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear
football, the sport, that sport has so little loyalty. It's the only sport where I'm like, do whatever you can, get as much as you can. If you pulled out, I don't blame you, because there is literally no loyalty in that sport. The only players that get any type of guaranteed money are the very, very rare linemen and quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But it's the dual threat of, like, the dual other side of the knife of what you said, right? You start paying a quarterback all that money.
Oh yeah, you won't
leave.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's a very good chance that Jalen Hurts will never win a Super Bowl. Besides, right? The math doesn't suggest that he's going to get, not lucky, but run into the same perfect storm that Mahomes got. Statistically, it happens once every 2 blue moons.
Yeah.
And we just had that one time, so it's gonna be a long time before this.
Yeah, he's more closer to being, I'm not saying, because I would take him over Dak Prescott, but he can be the Dak Prescott situation. We make all this money. Yeah, you need a second wide receiver, another corner. You can't get it because you make all this money. Or you could be Aaron Rodgers, or you could be Russell
Dallas's
Wilson.
problem is
and to your point,
is the
Dak
running
has
back situation.
better receivers than KC does.
Yeah. But no, I don't think Jalen will ever win a Super Bowl if he makes a whole bunch of money, and I think he should go make a bunch of money and forego the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be
It's
mad.
a great feeling and wonderful on your resume, but we've learned that it doesn't take winning a Super Bowl to make Hall of Fame. But it does take making a lot of money to be able to do all the other things that you want to do when your very short football career can be over. And any minute, just ask Hamlin, ask all these other folks.
Two last things for me. One, what I was saying was like Mahomes getting all that money is also the best in the game and has made the rest of the team around him better.
Yeah.
Typically, the guys who come back after them are not necessarily the best in the game. They could be tops. However, now you got to set the market so you make more or as much as him, and you're top 5, but not number 1. Mahomes has proven he's magical, as you said. 2,
perfect storm though, too.
Yeah. Well, and Mahomes he's something else, man. Like there's no he's insane, and the offense and the players that got around and sliding new players in and making them good. It's crazy. 2, I saw his ankle get hurt. I'm gonna be honest. Paul Pierce has ruined the idea of an injury and comeback for me for life. I never think it's as bad as they say now. I don't have any real injuries. I never played any sports like that. I'm gonna always put that out there. But Paul Pierce getting carted off and carried off and put on a stretcher and coming back, putting up 40 points. I always think of that in every injury. So
I think it says more about Paul Pierce. I believed the entire second half. I believed he was hurt when he was running.
He ran like he was hurt. He ran like he was hurt. But I'm with you, Glenn.
He was at Disney Sea Walk and Brian messing with it.
I'm with you, Glenn. Because I told both you guys on text, if Mahomes was hurt that bad, that point spread would have shot up, and it never did. It stayed. It was at 1.5 that entire time. So,
man, I know everybody's watching. I'm gonna play it up hurt too, and then come out there and do what I was doing. Make y'all think y'all got a chance.
But Jason, the second half line on that game was Philly minus 3.5.
No, the second half line was KC -3. Because they were down by 10.
The one that was on all the advertisements and all the stuff they were talking about was Philly minus 6.5.
No, not the second half, because they were up 10. Oh, because when I saw it, it was KC -3, 24.5. And I took the over 24.5. But I didn't see Philadelphia minus 6.5. But it's
that over on the 24 was easiest money.
And but it was funny because I told you guys at halftime, I was like, man, if Mahomes' ankle is done, if he's hurt, it's over. Because
everybody knew that.
I was like, man, it's over.
My money is gone. But I just felt Paul Pierce again, man. So that's just my own bias that I'm gonna have for the rest of my life because of that series, and that's just me. I'm gonna just call it like that.
I got you.
Good game, man. I had a great time with it. I thought it was a good end to the season. Start of the season was good. The NFL's they've been getting lucky with some good performances out there. I do the air quotes. Shout out to Arian Foster and the idea that the whole thing is scripted, but there's had some really good games, a lot of good stories, and it was a good season, man. And now we get to wait 7 months.
I just looked it up. It was Chiefs minus 3.5.
Word. All right. So shifting from that, man, NBA, man, I think dang near 10 minutes after our last show, KD gets traded to the Suns. Everybody loves to they can't do it while we on. They got to wait.
Right.
But yeah, let's get into that, man. KD gets traded, goes to the Suns. What do you think that does for them? And then we'll kick a couple other NBA trades.
Go ahead, B. I know you had some thoughts about this last year when it was a possibility to happen.
Yeah, I think KD ended up on the team he probably should have ended up a long time ago. I think that's a very, very formidable 4. They got solid center. They got Booker, they got CP3, and now they got KD. And it just needed to happen. I mean, this whole Brooklyn Nets thing has been a disaster since its conception. It was always going to be a disaster. We called it from the minute that he signed there and all that was going to happen. We made all the proclamations. 1, you're not going to win with Kyrie. 2, you're not going to win with Harden. And
3, you're not going to win.
So in conclusion, you're not going to win. All of that turned out to be the case. I do think that Kevin Durant is the kind of player that could help a team like the Phoenix Suns win.
Mm-hmm.
All of it depends on the injury history of some oft-injured players in CP3, KD.
Yep.
And so, we'll see what happens if they can stay healthy. That's a pretty big if with that team. If they can stay healthy, it's hard to see a team that's better than them on paper. But again, their inability to stay healthy is significant. And Jay Crowder obviously wasn't a big deal. He wasn't even playing much at this point because he was pissed off about his role there. So
that's where he was. Okay.
Yeah. So the Nets got a decent haul, right? 4 first-round picks. I mean, that's huge. The Nets have now been the only team that I can think of that have gone all in, failed, were able to go all in again, fail, and still come out of it looking okay.
Yeah.
So they traded every draft pick and every player that they could find to bring KG and Paul Pierce.
That's right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's right.
And it didn't work. And most times when that happens, the team is left for dead for several years.
Yep.
But they were able to figure out a way to rebuild that team. Then they went all in on Kyrie and Harden and all the trades to make that happen. And KD, it blew up again. Then they screw up getting rid of Harden by getting Ben Simmons, making the problem worse. And then they give up on KD and Kyrie and still come out getting all these draft picks from both Dallas and Phoenix Suns. That's well played. And it's Sean Marks who's out there, isn't he?
Sean Marks. Yeah, went to Cal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a hell of a job because most teams, when you see them go all in and it doesn't work, they're left for dead.
10 years. Yeah, they're done. Yeah. So Brian, you said it. I don't really have too much comment on that, Glenn. Brian stole my thunder. I was gonna go back to KG and Paul Pierce too, and then come up to there, Kyrie, Harden, and Durant, and now we'll see what happens again. But yeah, Brian, you said it all. I have no further, none further.
Man,
none further to say.
Hey,
yep.
Prosecution rest.
Rest. Right.
Who else for NBA trades?
So let's talk about what the Lakers did, right? So they'd made the big trade.
I didn't see any fireworks or confetti from you guys or anything when both Westbrook.
Well, that's the whole
Beverly
point, though. Is but first, so we got D'Angelo Russell, Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. By the way, all three of which have started to play pretty well in their very brief time that they've been here. And we got rid of Russell Westbrook, and the ticker tape parade began. But the big trade that made me super happy didn't happen until after we did this. It followed the next morning, and it was almost under the radar when we got rid of Patrick Beverly from Obama. We could have gotten back shoelaces, old shoelaces.
Yeah, a third round pick, and there's not even a third round in the NBA.
We could have got back a moldy sock. We could have got back a moldy sock to get rid of Patrick Beverly. But the fact that we didn't have to, and Glenn, you were here when it happened. I said, look, the guy I'm afraid we're going to have to give up a first-round pick to get rid of is Patrick Beverly. And we not only did a straight-up trade where we didn't have to give up money or draft picks to get Mo Bamba, who's going to be a solid backup after we had to get rid of Thomas Bryant, which saddened me. But I totally understand what we had to do. That was a great trade. I don't like the Lakers management, but to be able to get rid of Patrick Beverly without giving away the house, because he is awful.
Yeah, I mean, we got a player for him. We got a player. The fact that we got a player, yeah, you're right, exactly. The fact that we got a player for Patrick Beverly, I mean, that's a win for us. So yeah, I'm with that.
And then under the radar, like I said, Thomas Bryant, who was playing outstanding for us while AD was out, very quietly went to the Lakers at some point and said, hey, I want to play someplace I can have a role. The Lakers obliged and found a good deal for both sides. The player, David Reed, I don't know anything about him, whether he'd be there, but we got 3 second-round picks for a guy that we only had throughout the rest of the season, who was a good, solid backup, and sent Thomas Bryant to the Denver Nuggets. And then later the same day, got ourselves another backup center who's pretty talented in Mo Bamba, and got rid of Patrick Beverly. The second day of trades was more impressive than the first day of trades from an execution, right? Obviously, Beasley, Vanderbilt, and Russell are going to be more impactful on the court. But from an execution standpoint, the second day of trades, getting rid of Patrick Beverly's stank self, I kept the PG for you, bro. Stank self was way harder to do, right? We turned Patrick Beverly and Thomas Bryant, who was good but not a long-term guy, he was only a year, into 3 draft picks and a backup center. That's impressive. Impressive to me.
Yeah, you guys weren't as happy as I thought you'd be for both Westbrook and Beverly.
No.
How can I show you how happy I was?
Right, exactly. I just gave thumbs up, a fist, I gave everything, man. We were good.
I want the Tiger Woods
virtual high five. Man.
Exactly. There you go. There you go. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I can't tell you.
High five, fist bump. Yeah, all that. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we got rid of 2 garbage players.
My brothers can't go with y'all. Westbrook was playing all right coming off the bench.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Yeah, I don't know about
that. He was
the
highest paid player on the team, and he was coming off the bench. And being
right. You can't pay $47 million for off the bench, Glenn. You can't do that.
Like, we're thankful that the guy is shooting 32% from 3.
Black History Month, man. Y'all ain't happy to see a brother get paid?
No, we ain't.
He's so good. The first thing the team started talking about is who he's going to get. How long is it taking to get cut? Man. When he got traded, it wasn't, Russell Westbrook and another team like it was when he came to the Lakers. It was, how long will it take before he gets cut? That was the big conversation.
Poor guy.
Hey, he's a $40 million player.
Russ, Beverly, man, take care of yourselves, bruh. Like, man, I've always supported you guys. If you have a show you need hosted or something, hit me on my line. You know what I'm saying?
That's too funny.
I don't know about anyone to be optimistic. Glenn is your guy.
That's what I do,
for sure.
Glenn is our guy. You know what I mean? Hey, man.
I'll be realistic.
Brothers is gone.
Garbage.
Was there? I thought this Josh Hart trade was interesting too, but like they traded a lot to get Josh Hart back, but apparently it really made Jalen Brunson super happy. I guess they played together, but they traded.
And he was super excited.
2 other players and a pick for Josh Hart. That's wild.
Yeah. They played at Villanova, right?
I think so.
Say again?
Yeah. Okay. They played at Villanova, I think, right? Okay.
Yeah. I think the 2 other trades that I thought were kind of interesting was the James Wiseman trade going to the Detroit Pistons and getting Kevin Knox. But and I mean, it's interesting that they got rid of a player who wasn't playing poorly, but just didn't seem to fit. It's obvious that they've decided that they're going to ride the 3 players into the sunset, and whatever will be because. Wiseman was obviously the heir was meant to be the heir apparent to Draymond. But they got Kevin Knox and 5 second-round picks. That's a pretty decent haul for a guy that doesn't fit on your team. And then the other trade that I think, and you can come back and talk about both of them, that I thought was really interesting was the one that almost didn't happen, which is the trade for GP2 to go back to the Warriors.
Yeah.
And they had all the different problems because it turns out that they were juicing the dude up and giving him Toradol shots just so he could play basketball on a nightly basis. And it doesn't look like he's going to play for the next 2 to 3 months. But that trade I thought was the other one that was pretty interesting. The trade that almost didn't happen. I don't know what your thoughts on those were.
Well, I'm gonna take a victory lap on the James Wiseman one because I never saw why he was drafted. So I was never a Wise. I just didn't see it. I don't know what everybody was talking about, why he was so good. And it looks like the Warriors felt the same way I did, just like they did about some other guy. I remember they had some guy from Oregon, Jordan Bell. I didn't see I didn't see the hype on it. I just didn't understand why. And Warriors got rid of him in 2 years, and they just got rid of Wiseman as well. So
I don't know that Wiseman. I don't know that they gave up on Wiseman because he still took in a pretty good haul. Like Bell, they gave up on him. It was obvious they had to sell him out. I think they realized they weren't going to be able to sign him kind of money he wanted because they got other players who want a crap ton of money, and he just didn't fit. If he wasn't going to be able to do, like I said, I think the Warriors basically have said Draymond is going to stay here. I wouldn't have been surprised if they had traded Draymond. They said, nope, we're going this direction. We're going down with the Draymond ship. Draymond will play his entire career as a Warrior at this point. That's before I thought there was a chance he could come to us.
Right.
In some min deal. It's clear he is going to play all of his career as a Warrior.
We'll see. I might have to bet you a shot on that one. I still think he's gone.
I'll take that bet.
I think Draymond. I think Draymond wants to get paid. Now I don't think the Warriors are going to do that. And his heir apparent is already on the team. It's Wiggins, who plays some pretty good defense.
And they just got the doors blown off of them by the Clippers.
No, he wants money. I think Draymond thinks somebody will give him some money. But the other deal that caught my attention was not the Brooklyn getting their second round picks, but Indianapolis getting George Hill, Ibaka, and somebody else. I thought
Yep.
George Hill was a Pacer maybe 2 or 3 times already,
Yep.
but that's not the big thing. The big thing was the Bucks getting Jay Crowder. The Bucks loading up on wing defenders because if you're going to beat the Celtics, you need guys to play on the wing. So that kind of caught my attention.
Suns now
Jay
too.
Crowder. What's that?
Beat the Suns now too, if they make
Oh
it.
yeah. So Jay Crowder going to the Bucks, that could be a key acquisition come playoff time. We'll have to see. I'm sure he'll get a lot of minutes on
Like that
Tatum,
one.
but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But George Hill seemed like to me he's been a Pacer at least a couple times already. Ibaka, I did not know he was still playing. It looks like he's about 45, and then Brooklyn getting second round picks. That means stuff. But yeah.
And the most traded award goes to Zvi Mayaluk. Do you know who drafted Zvi Mayaluk?
What's it,
What,
Lakers?
the Lakers?
Lakers.
Yeah, I remember the name.
Yeah.
I remember the name.
He
Word.
got traded twice in less than 24 hours.
Oh damn.
Mm.
Yeah, that's how you know nobody wants you.
Oh, say,
Yeah.
hey, Speed man, come on
Well,
over.
that
to
just means he has a
Optimus side,
contract that fits very well.
And that too.
bro. Trades, yeah.
You throw in like a
Yeah.
Tony Delk or something, always getting thrown into
Tony
a
Delk.
trade. Yeah, Reggie Theus always getting thrown into a trade. Yeah,
Tony Delk.
Gotcha.
Dang.
yeah.
Word. All right. So that's the NBA trades, man. I kind of want to just jump in. I know we went NFL back to NFL, but real quick, get your thoughts on these coaching changes for the ones that have already occurred. So we got like a bunch of guys who got official jobs. So I mean, if we kind of going down the list, starting by alphabetically, the Cardinals get Jonathan Gannon, who's the defensive coordinator from the Eagles, as their coach, which I thought was
Really?
interesting.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, they got a
Yeah.
defensive coach.
5 years. I thought that was really interesting and wanted to get your take on that, Coop, because I know you don't like defensive coaches, and they have
Yeah,
to deal with
look.
Kyler
I'm
Murray
not.
for the next 4 years.
Look. I love D'Amico Ryan, got a Houston Texans job. I don't think this guy from Philly is bad, but I think in the division that they're in the NFC West, going against McVay, going against Pete Carroll, and
McVay, we
going
got to
against,
see.
and yeah, got to say, and then
He
going
made
against
Sean Payton.
Shanahan.
No, he said he's back.
Okay.
He came out. Yeah, he
Yeah.
said he's back.
I believe you're going to need some offense. This defensive coaching trend. I mean, what Chicago hired a defensive coach. They went 3-13 last year, and then that guy
Their
from
offense was
he was with
terrible.
Indianapolis, and he was pretty good. So, yeah, I don't know about this one, man. I don't think the Cardinals are a very good organization. I know they don't keep coaches long. I know nobody likes Kyle Murray, and then DeAndre Hopkins wants to leave. He doesn't want to be there. It's not known publicly, but it's known internally that he doesn't want to be with the Cardinals anymore. So I think the Cardinals are probably a tire fire, like close to a tire fire of organization. I don't think this guy's going to have that much of an impact. And I mean, what guys on defense does Arizona have, that you can even build around? I don't think they even got a guy. They had Chandler Jones, but he's with the Raiders now. So I don't know. The Cardinals is not a good job to me. I don't see him making a huge impact. What do you think,
You
Brian?
say that about every opening, and that's because there's
No, I
no
don't.
such thing as an opening for a good job. Yes, you said that
No.
Houston sucked and that D'Amico Ryan shouldn't go there, and he should
No.
absolutely think about it.
I didn't say
There's
D'Amico Ryan
not
shouldn't go
one
there.
job that's been open this year that you have not trashed.
No, I didn't trash the Houston job. I said he needs to get a quarterback. That's his main issue. Once he gets the quarterback, he'll be fine.
Come on, man.
I did
You
not
gotta be
trash.
somewhat consistent.
I did not trash.
Stick to your gut.
I did
We
not
argued
trash
about it. I
D'Amico
said
Ryan.
that was the best job opening, and you came at
And
said
I said it wasn't.
trash.
I said it was. I said it was not exactly. I did say that, but it's better than the Cardinals. Okay, it's better than the Cardinals.
I said it was the best. You said it was probably the worst because I was like, you get to pick your quarterback there. You get the first. He's like the whole organization.
Bro, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I forgot the Arizona Cardinals had an opening. I thought Kingsbury was still there. I forgot they even had an opening.
Well,
So
okay,
so Glenn brought it up. That's the worst job. Sorry, it is.
What
It is.
about
I don't know if it's the worst job or not, but I'll tell you this. I mean, first time coaches do not get to go coach the Patriots after they just won a Super Bowl. Like that doesn't happen. There's very few opportunities for coaches to go into good situations, a la Andy Reid when he went into KC. Those go
Hall of
to
Fame coach already?
They go to Hall of Fame, well-established coaches. They're not going to Jonathan Gannon. They're not going to DeMeco Ryans. They're not going to Kevin O'Connell and Cliff Kingsbury's. So
Hey, Kevin O'Connell got a good job. That wasn't a bad job, Minnesota.
Tell me that after this offseason when we have 14 starters that have to have their contracts redone.
Yeah, I'm just saying it wasn't a bad job.
We won't have. I
Oh,
think,
y'all got dang! I didn't know y'all got Steve Wilkes as defensive. All right, so
Oh, yeah,
uh,
49ers got Steve Wilkes, defense coordinator.
Colts,
Yeah.
the Colts
but
get
anyways,
Frank.
as far as the Jonathan Gannon thing, I think what I do agree with you is his success and his ability to do anything with that team will be dependent on two things: who he gets as his offensive coordinator. Don't be surprised if they break the bank to get Bieniemy or someone like him, who has a lot of success on the offensive side. And what are they able to do with Kyle Murray?
That's the key, because he ain't going nowhere. That contract.
No, there's
Gannon
only
was
one guy he can be in all of football that he can be traded for, and that's Russell Wilson. And I just don't see
Oh
how
yeah,
that one.
yeah.
he was
They
there
have the
for
same kind of deal,
I don't see.
same miserable
Yeah,
situation.
I don't see Sean Payton dealing with Kyler Murray. I think he could probably deal with
Oh
Wilson
no,
a
he's
little
gonna
more.
deal with Russ Wilson.
Yeah.
Of course.
But Frank Reich goes to the Carolina Panthers. Old Colts
He
coach.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Steve Wilkes didn't get that job and he was upset. Look,
And he was CEO.
I could see why Carolina they want to go.
Yeah.
They went the college route and it didn't work for them. So now they went with the safe hire. I get it. Wilkes doesn't have a great track record as a head coach. It was kind of a disaster in Arizona. I get it, but Carolina is still. You got to see again quarterback. Who's gonna have play quarterback? Can't be Sam Darnold. Can't be Baker Mayfield. So.
I think Frank Reich was their first quarterback in franchise history, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken.
really? I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm saying Frank Reich is a bad coach, but it kind of didn't end well with the Colts, and I guess we'll see what happens with Carolina. I know
hey,
the
your
owner.
boy Jim Caldwell even got a job.
Where's he at? Offense coordinator.
Panthers.
Offense coordinator.
Especially he couldn't like offensive
Senior
specialist
assistant. Senior
or
assistant.
assistant.
Oh,
coach.
okay, I know he's probably offense coordinator, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like they wanted to go a safe hire, somebody with some experience, and they went with Frank Wright. I mean, obviously, I guess his record is better than Wilkes or whatever, and they just want to go a new direction and get somebody else in the building. But Tepper is an impulsive owner, so if he doesn't get it done in a couple of years, I can see him being gone. They're getting another coach. What about you, Brian?
So the Colts thing, here's what I found a little bit different. The coach comes out, he gets hired. I really don't know that much about him. But the first thing he says is, we're going to throw a lot to score a lot of points. That's his like opening salvo into the thing, which is a great idea.
That was the Colts
as long
coach.
as you have a quarterback.
Yeah, that was the Colts coach, I thought.
The Colts coach said that?
That's what I said.
Yeah, Frank,
No.
what's his name? Shane Stitchen.
Shane.
Oh, wait. No, I thought we were talking about Carolina.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Colts coach.
No.
But so fast forward to later when we talk about him. I thought that was interesting. Sorry, on Frank Reich, look, he's just a retread. And I don't know that I wouldn't call him safe. Because when the tread, you've already blown that tire. So it's not, you're not going to really be able to go over there. But he did hire Jim Caldwell. I think they have like a collection of other previously failed head coaches that are joining the staff.
Yeah.
So
they do that sometimes, try to help
weight
each
in the
other get
room.
head coaching jobs. Yeah, they do that sometimes.
Yeah, of course. And it's, it's fair. I think it works out better in certain situations. Like there's all-star coordinators who get a shot at being a head coach. It doesn't work out for them. Think Josh McDaniels. And then they go back and be into their more native role of
Bill O'Brien. Yeah, back with the Patriots, offense coordinator. Yeah, right. Exactly. GB.
I mean, you got to see. Everybody goes somewhere. You got to see what you're gonna do.
Well, let's move to Indianapolis now, since Brian
let's move
brought
to
that up.
I already said what I had to
Now,
say.
was this guy the offense coordinator for Philly or what?
Exactly.
This guy?
Philly's lost every major coordinator.
Okay.
Plus, they're gonna lose hella players.
Okay.
So yeah.
But he comes out and he said first thing out of the bat, which is really respectable, but they don't have a quarterback. All their last couple of quarterbacks have all been retreads. So you have to wonder which of these free agent quarterbacks he has a design on, because it has to be that. So he's, some place to look for a Carr to be talking to, or a Garoppolo, or, one of these guys who can chuck a ball, because he's already made it very clear he wants to throw the ball a lot.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about that one.
The GM came out and said, or no, what's his name? Irsay came out like, yeah, we want to get an offensive guy because we know we're gonna have to develop a young quarterback. And the GM was like, yo, chill out, bro. Like, so they might be looking to draft somebody.
Well, we got to see he doesn't have a defense coordinator.
He got a 6-year deal too.
I wouldn't be surprised if they draft somebody, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they added 2 years of Garoppolo or 2 years of Carr, like they've been doing. because they can't go out and throw a lot with a first, rookie quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah. So Nathaniel Hackett, ex-Denver coach, got an off OC job with the Jets. Bill O'Brien, ex-Houston coach, is
He was
back with the
before, by the way. I
Patriots.
think he was with the Jets before.
Yep. And
Yep.
Bill O'Brien's back with the Patriots. You got Mike LaFleur. He's the OC now with the Rams. But we got Kellen Moore now leaving Dallas to become the OC, leaving
Chargers.
Dak to go coach Justin Herbert. How you feel about that?
I think if you're Kellen Moore, you couldn't be happier about that situation.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, I get to go from a quarterback who I'm not sure is that good.
I'll tell you, Brian. He ain't. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Continue.
And go to somebody who is a top 5 young quarterback talent.
Yeah. Glenn, any you upset?
Man, you got to see what happens, bro.
Yeah, you do got to see what happens.
You get a new coach, you got to.
Glenn?
I don't know, man. It's the Chiefs. That's the whole division. The Chiefs, and then someone's gonna come in second and possibly get a playoff spot. That's our whole division. Chiefs, you got to figure the Chiefs are gonna win it. Someone else is gonna come in second, and maybe they win enough games to get a playoff spot. That's how it's been for the last few years.
But you didn't say the Raiders are coming second. You said that.
Well, honestly, I don't trust any of these teams, mine included. So none of those teams am I super sold on. The Chargers, I gave them hella props last year, and it made me look stupid. So I'm never doing that again until
Cooper knows about that.
Yeah, I know about that. Yeah. We can have a shot on that one. But two quick things. With DeMeco Ryan, he hired Bobby Slowick from the 49ers as his offense coordinator. I think he was I forgot what he was, a quarterback's coach or something. He was something with the 49ers, offensive assistant, something. Hired him as offense coordinator. And he hired Matt Burke, who was Arizona's defensive line coach, as his defense coordinator. So he must have a lot of respect for how Matt Burke handled, I guess, Arizona's defensive line to hire him as his defense coordinator. I guess
he's have his hand on the defense anyway.
Yeah. And then lastly, my last point, I saw, I forgot. Brian Flores is now the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. And Steve Wilkes is defense coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers, we only get draft picks because we got minority, well, mostly black assistants being hired by other teams as coordinators and coaches. That's how we get our draft picks, because we got a lot of guys that leave every other year. Steve Wilkes could make his mark with the 49ers and possibly get another shot as being the head coach.
Hats off to him for it, though.
Yeah. So we'll see. I thought I had another. So I think the next year's hot guy coordinator everybody's going to want to hire is Detroit Lions offense coordinator Ben Johnson. I think he's going to be the hot guy next year.
I think that's fair.
We'll see.
Yeah, they need to have another good year.
Yeah.
Word. All right, guys. Well, appreciate y'all, man. Last couple segments, man. You got anything that's hella hogwash? Anything that was a bunch of hogwash from this week?
Yeah. The Kansas City Chiefs, specifically Kels, running all over the world talking about nobody thought we could do it. Man, you were picked by half the pundits in the world at the beginning of the season to win another Super Bowl in spite of it, or at least make the AFC Championship game. So I don't know how that was some Jordan-esque, machinations to make it so that everyone hated you and nobody thought you could do anything. Going back, if anyone watched Jordan's Hall of Fame speech, he was like, everyone was trying to keep you there. Like, man, everyone was trying to lift you up.
They try to keep, man, they changed the rules for you to help you score. Be quiet. I don't want to hear all that.
But the KC and particularly Travis Kelce, and then the reports and stuff on Monday, all people are talking about, nobody thought that they could. Come on, man. Ridiculous. Everyone thought they could make it. That's hella hogwash.
Agreed.
Everyone was down on you.
Yeah, that was going to be mine. I just found out about that today. I was like, this is going to be my hogwash segment. Well, what the hell are you talking about, man? No, you're good. You're good. I mean, Kelce ought to be ashamed of his damn self for saying something like that, man. He don't listen. Obviously, he don't listen to sports counterpoints. He had one or two guys that wanted him to win. So, it's all good. It's all good.
Mine real quick was I get it, but Juju Smith-Schuster he put out like a jokingly Valentine's Day thing with James Bradbury on it, saying like, I'll hold you in all the crucial moments type thing. I mean, I get it, bro, and it's kind of funny, but you didn't put up them kind of numbers to me to be talking like that. So no one even knew you was on the team down there, bro. So chill out. You got known because you got held. Relax.
182 yards for that team. You need 100 yards by yourself before you can start doing all that.
Yeah, relax.
And plus,
And Bradbury's well known.
right, and plus his name is Juju. So I mean, I mean, he needs to be quiet.
I don't
And,
fault
hey,
the man because his mama gave him a name.
Never right. No, what's the guy for Green Bay? He played safety or DB for
Ha-ha.
him. Ha ha. Yeah, there you go. Ha ha. That's the only
Clinton
people
Dix.
know you.
I'm all
His name
for
is
I'm
Ha
all
Ha.
for the clowns, man, but that was kind of wild to me.
I'm with you on that.
Minute to win it wise, I just want to thank everybody for listening. Shout out to Mom and Joey and my niece and nephew, Ali and JoJo, to Jace, Jew, to everybody, man. I love you guys, and that's all I got.
My man to win it is about Brock Purdy. People say he's gonna be back before training camp. I do not believe that for 1 second. I do not believe that Brock Purdy is gonna be back within 5 months after they making a whole big deal about his elbow, and he still hasn't had surgery yet. Not supposed to have surgery till maybe like I think on the 21st or something like that. So I think we'll have to roll with Trey Lance beginning the training camp and probably beginning the season. Brock Purdy may not play. It's a possibility, but I do not believe that he's going to be back before training camp. I'm willing to bet anybody. It might be too many of y'all. Want anybody $5 to start a training camp? He will not be ready to play.
Bet shots, man, because after the Super Bowl, you could probably take a few extra of those.
Oh yeah, I got you on that.
Mine is I got three real quick hitters. Another damn school had a mass shooting, and my heart goes out to the folks at Michigan State, who again and again we come on here and every other show and everyone's talking about the fact that these mass shootings have just keep occurring and they're senseless, and there's one thing that always is included in it's some type of assault rifle or gun, and this guy shot himself after he did it. But I'm just really sorry that so many people have to go out that. And it's such a senseless thing that there's nobody in the U.S. that could possibly wake up every morning and feel like there isn't a chance that something horrible can come to them because of gun violence. And that's disappointing. The other thing is that I don't know if people were keeping up on this, but the last time we had this show, there was a couple thousand people who are already dead as a result of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. There are over 35,000 now dead. And if you ever want to see something just distressing, look at the before and after pictures. So my heart goes out to those people. I mean, 35,000 people. You're getting to the point where you could fill the Big House from a Sports Reference, which is one of the largest stadiums. It holds like 100,000 people. But they've still got tens of thousands of people who are missing, suspected lost but not confirmed under rubble. They're finding infants and babies, and there's ways to donate, and for anybody who is into doing that type of thing, please do. I understand again that Turkey and Syria are not a lot of people's favorite countries. Who gives a damn? The kids under the rubble don't understand that. And the last thing I want to say is a shout out to Glenn, who was hanging out with my family the last week and is a pure hero in my family's eyes for all the engagement. So thanks to you, man, for hanging out with us this past week. It was special. It was great.
It was my pleasure, man. 100%. Brian always with the poignant things, and thank you. I didn't expect that. Also, last hitter, Tiger Woods is playing meaningful golf this week.
I will be there to see it.
Yeah,
7 a.m. on Friday. I will be right there.
First round, right?
Yeah, Thursday.
Okay,
Tiger starts Thursday at noon. So
noon. His first round is
got to do that before he misses the cut. Okay.
He has a solid.
That's why I'm going Friday at 7 a.m.
Yep. So check that out. Hey, Lil too. So thank you all for listening. We appreciate you all, guys. Always a pleasure doing it. February 14th, 2023. That's Sports Counterpoints. Thanks.